Your alarm goes off, it's still dark. You hit snooze once, maybe twice, then drag yourself up, scroll your phone for 10 minutes and start counting the hours until you're free again. Now erase all of that. No alarms, no phones, no job waiting, no clock telling you're already behind. For 300,000 years, this was every single morning. You woke up when your body was done sleeping. The sun was up, the air was cool, and the biggest question on your mind wasn't a deadline, it was breakfast. So what did ancient humans actually do all day? The answer is going to mess with your head a little, because it turns out they had something you've probably been chasing your whole life, and they had it without even trying. But there's one thing they did for hours every single day that has almost completely vanished from your life. Keep that in the back of your mind, we'll get to it. Let's start with the part everyone gets wrong. You've been told that life back then was a constant grind, clawing at the dirt, starving, running from death every waking second, brutal, short, miserable. Here's what nobody tells you. The actual work of staying alive, finding food, getting water, keeping warm took about 3 hours a day. 3 hours. Not 12, not 9, not the 8 you spend at a desk plus the commute plus the emails you answer in bed. 3. We know this because of people who still live this way right now. Anthropologists like Richard Lee went and lived alongside the sand people of the Kalahari back in the 1960s. He didn't guess. He sat there, watched and counted the hours, and what he found was wild. A grown adult spent somewhere between 15 and 20 hours a week actually hunting and gathering. Some days, barely 2 hours. The rest, that was theirs. Now think about that for a second. You were taught that ancient humans were the ones suffering, but a sand hunter had more free afternoons in a week than you've had all year. And it gets stranger. You'd think that with all that food to find, they'd be exhausted, scraping by, always one bad day from starving. But they weren't hoarding, they weren't stockpiling, they weren't building bigger barns or chasing more. They ate enough and then they stopped. That's the part our brains can barely process today, the idea of enough. You finish one task and there are 40 more, you hit a goal and immediately need the next one. But for almost all of human history, the goal was simple: get fed, get safe, get back to the people you love, done. So what filled the rest of the day? Stay with me because this is where it stops being about ancient people and starts being about you. Picture the morning, a small group, maybe 20 or 30 people, everybody knows everybody. Some head out to dig for tubers and roots. Others go looking for honey, and ancient humans were obsessed with honey, climbing trees, following birds, taking stings all over their bodies for it. A few track game across 4, maybe 7 miles of open land. The Hadza people of Tanzania still walk those same distances today. But here's the thing, that walk wasn't a workout you dread. It wasn't a treadmill in a windowless gym at 6 a.m. It was talking, joking, reading the land, being outside in a body that was literally built to move through exactly that kind of place. And then they came back, and the day was still young. The afternoons were slow, people napped, kids ran loose in a pack raised by everyone, never handed a screen to keep them quiet, tools got fixed, stories got told, someone was always laughing about something. This wasn't a vacation, this was Tuesday. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. We tend to think we invented the good life, comfort, free time, leisure. We think all of human progress was a straight climb out of misery and into the soft, easy world you're sitting in right now. But the anthropologist Marshall Solins flipped that whole story upside down. He called these people the original affluent society. Affluent, rich, not because they had stuff, they had almost nothing and carried what little they owned on their backs. They were rich in the one thing you can't buy back: time. So what changed? Why don't you wake up with a free afternoon every single day? One word: farming. Around 10,000 years ago, humans figured out how to grow food instead of finding it. And on paper, that sounds like the upgrade of the century: more food, safer, smarter. But here's the catch nobody mentions: farming doesn't stop. A field has to be planted, watered, weeded, guarded, harvested, stored. There's always something more you could do, always one more row. The work expanded to fill every hour you had. And once you could store grain, you could pile it up. And once you could pile it up, some people had more than others. Suddenly there were the people who owned the food, and the people who worked for it. This isn't a story about how primitive they were. This isn't a story about how lucky you are to live now. This is the story of the moment humans quietly traded their freedom for a full storehouse and barely noticed it happening. That trade is still running your life today. The average person now spends 90,000 hours working over a lifetime. 90,000, that's roughly a third of all the waking time you'll ever get. 300,000 years of humans woke up free, you woke up to a calendar. Now that thing I told you to remember. The one thing ancient humans did for hours every single day that's almost gone from your life. It wasn't hunting, it wasn't farming, it wasn't survival at all. It was sitting around the fire at night, doing absolutely nothing productive, just talking to each other. Researchers who studied firelit conversations among the sand found something beautiful. During the day, people talked about practical stuff, who's going where, what needs doing, but at night around the fire the talk changed completely. It became stories, myths, gossip about people they loved, the big questions, who we are, what the stars are, what happens when we die. That fire time wasn't wasted. It might have been the most human part of the entire day, hours of it, every night, faces lit orange, no screens, no scrolling, nowhere else to be. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you sat with people you love with nothing to do and nowhere to rush off to and just talked until you were done? For most of us, the answer is genuinely hard to remember. That's the trade. You got electricity, medicine, grocery stores, a roof that doesn't leak, real things, things ancient humans would have killed for. But you gave back the slow morning, the free afternoon, the long firelit night with your people. Your body still runs on the old code, that low buzz of stress you feel on a Sunday night, the pull to be outside. The way a campfire still goes quiet and calms something deep in your chest. That's 300,000 years of wiring sitting inside a life it was never designed for. So next time your alarm rips you out of sleep and you start counting the hours till you're free, remember that for almost all of human history, the whole day was already yours. Here's my question for you. If you could trade your job, your phone, and your savings for that life, 3 hours of work and a fire to sit by every night, would you actually do it? Be honest. Tell me below. And if this rewired your brain a little, stick around. There's a lot more about the world you came from, and almost none of it is what you were taught.